And we will just get into it because this is a political and current affairs prog show segment of the morning breakfast show, Eagles Morning Rise, right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And yes, for today being the 21st day in the month of August of 2024. Well, we'll be looking at some things that has happened just recently, and it's only necessary for me to bring it on here and have that discourse with you as soon as we can, right? Okay, so it's no news anymore, the fact that we've seen the issues that surround matters where the NLC president, Joe Ajero, was invited by the Nigeria Police Force. And having said that, that invitation was connoted as being somewhat malicious. And we saw the NLC in itself as a body, as an organization, saying that holding a meeting. In fact, they had to convene a very, very, impromptu meeting in that regard, seeking whether or not their president, Joe Ajero, should honor that invitation by the Nigeria Police Force. Well, after that meeting as of yesterday, a communique came out, and the communique says, okay, he will honor it. And just when we thought that we would at least, the next thing we should hear would be, oh, Joe Ajero honored that invitation. How did it go and everything? We saw late how Joe Ajero, who happens to be the NLC president, turning down that invitation and slating it for yet another day, of course, not without bringing out some concerns. And we've also seen that in the spite of all of these that's also going on, and government's recent acquisition of a new presidential jet and the actions against Nigeria Labour Congress, well, these two have sparked some controversy and debate among citizens. So we look to examining, some of these issues. We will start, of course, with the presidential jet procurements, and we'll also look into the labor rights in Nigeria, at least looking at government expenditure, priorities, and treatment of public resources. Well, to join me in this conversation this morning would be none other but my guest, who would indeed now become our guest, is in the person of Comrade Gerald Okachi. He is one who is a human rights activist, a public affairs commentator, and social analyst. He's going to be joining us in the discourse this morning as we go conversational. I might also, as well as implore for you to join us across social media platforms. We'll be hosting a national television at Eagles FM Abuja, precisely on YouTube, precisely on Facebook, precisely on X, formerly Twitter, and across every other social media platform. Give us a like, give us a following, give us a subscription to subscribe. That's what I'm trying to say. And yes, you'll be glad that you did as well. So we'll be tuning in with him and engaging, as quickly as we can in that discourse this morning. But we should look at some little, I should give you some, heads up, into what's we would be talking about. Now, let's look at the place of the presidential jet acquisition and the historical context and, of the presidential jets, acquisition in Nigeria. I mean, Nigeria has had a long history of procuring expensive aircraft for presidential use, often amidst economic struggles, though. Let's go to 2011, where President Goodluck Jonathan's administration purchased a $40 million aircraft for a president amidst economic struggles. He was criticized for prioritizing luxury over citizens' welfare. In 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari's administration accused of spending 1.4 billion naira on maintenance for the presidential fleet. And he was criticized for misallocating resources amidst economic challenges. And still in 2023, though, we still saw with the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration acquiring a new presidential jet, Boeing 787 Dreamliner, amidst economic hardships, and also criticized for extravagance and insensitivity to citizen struggles. And now in 2024, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration acquiring an Airbus A330, right, private jet, which of course is turning a presidential, jet now for, well, an estimation. No amount has been, no amount has been connected with it, but there is an estimation that says it's about 100 million US dollars, which has sparked widespread criticism due to the country's economic crisis. And that being said, right, these concerns also get on, trickling down, side by side, pari passu with what the NLC president is also, experiencing, especially at a time like this, where the NLC president, George Arrow's response to police invitation has gone to the place where he declined initial invitation, citing prior engagement, and he had set August 29 of 2024 as a significant date, requested details of allegations against him. He said, look, if I must even come on that said date, things should be done rightly. And he's saying that I would love to know, I want to understand what the allegations are before I even honor that invitation. So I have the right to know it and all of that. Yeah? All right, well, engaging with our guest now, Comrade Gerald, good morning.
Yeah, very good morning to you as a wonderful listeners.
Lovely.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely. I like the sound of your voice, very energetic this morning. But comrade, let's jump into this. I'm sure you heard, some of the introduction that I put out there, but let's look at, the very beginning, the very start, right? The apogee of it all. Government expenditure priorities. How do you think that the government's acquisition of a new presidential jet would align with its expenditure priorities, especially amidst an economic, current in Nigeria?
Well, it's unfortunate to say that the current ruling class, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is one can hit his chest and say that it's actually detached with the suffering and realities that the Nigerian masses are going through. If you observe, a few weeks ago, earlier this month, Nigerian youths went on the street, protesting bad governance, expressing their dissatisfaction with regards to the policies, this present administration has embarked upon. But rather than seeing a government that, have asked the followers, the masses, to tighten their belt, at least to lead by example, that is where leadership entails. That is where you see that leadership have listens to a clarion call of followers or citizens. You continue to see profligacy that you cannot even fathom whether there's any consciousness or conscience, still living in them. If you look at what this present administration is doing with regards to the luxury style of life, you will just be marveled. Under 1 year, when he addressed the nation, he said that 1 year is not sufficient for him to address the numerous challenges that the country is facing today. But then 1 year is sufficient for him, to cruise on water with a yacht, to fly on air with a new jet that will give us the impression that it's new, but at the end of the day, we discover that it's over 15 years old jet, and the one that being claimed to be 40 is 19 years old. You begin to ask yourself, who is fooling who amidst the poverty and challenges? Now you look at the issue of NLC and the Nigerian government, you begin to ask yourself, it becomes a rhetoric adage that Africans normally say that which cries at night, a child dies in the morning. Over the years, we have seen, especially in this present administration, efforts to suppress dissenting voices, efforts to suppress, opinion voices that, that is not in tandem or in line with their views and the policies. As recent as this month, our secretariat in Lagos, Ikeja, Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, we are even, you see police trying to break in. If not the numerous public awareness we created, started shouting, raising our voices at different quarters, before they were able to withdraw. Now, less than few days after that, they did something on Nigerian Labour Congress, and the wheels of the night. That is not sufficient enough for them. It's now invitation to Joe Ajero. Now, if honestly speaking, Joe Ajero is not indispensable.
Right.
Joe Ajero, the president of NLC, is not above the law. If the law found him wanting, they should make him to face the books. You understand? But there are ways you do things, it becomes suspicious. There are ways you do things, it becomes condemnable. The same Joe Ajero was beaten up in Imo State a few years ago. You understand? And we saw his struggle with the working masses, with regards to minimum wage and other benefits he's pushing for the Nigerian people. But then it's unfortunate for him because as a citizen, as a member in the civil society organization, as an activist, I have less to feel for him because even when we were on the streets demanding for improved governance, we didn't see much solidarity from the organized labor. We didn't see that. But now there's a adage that said that they come for the Republicans. People did not show up. They come for the Jews. Nobody show up. It's coming sequence by sequence. Today is organized labor. Who knows who will be the next tomorrow? Who knows who will be the next? This does not tell good about us. So if police that is very good at pushing out information, police, EFC says all these government authorities good at pushing out information, have substantive evidence or things to pin this guy down. Just like the way they push the narrative or the case of former governor of Kogi State about 80 billions and others. Push things to the public. Let them push us. How this guy has been sponsoring terrorism and other things he has been a charge. Right. So, he's still within his duty to honor it, and he has expressed his expression and willingness to honor the invitation, hopefully by 29th, as they have said. So let's see how we end. But in fact, he had carried on their tune and unforeseen plans with regards to vindictive or punitive measures, honestly speaking, there will be reaction, and it will not be good for our nation, especially at this point in time.
Okay, let's tackle. Well, you already tackled both, issues together. But let's start with. Let me get back, with the presidential jet matter, right? Where we have not once, more than once, heard statements from the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, saying that there has been nothing brought before the Senate as regards procurement of new presidential jet for the president, right? It said there's been no approval by the National Assembly for the procurement of presidential jets for the president. And then to another point, he had said that should there be any request of such, and if it is tabled before the Parliament, that members will consider and approve it. We have also heard him say, come from different angles to this, but all of these angles still shows that we've not really had a tentative approval for a presidential jet. And now it makes you want to wonder, perhaps, have you not ever thought about it, that maybe we had already acquired these jets before now, and it's only surfacing at this point in time, not because monies were accrued to acquiring them. That's my point. What do you think? Is there no possibility in that?
Well, we have been in a government of propaganda, twisting and untwisting facts and the issues, Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, saying that there's no such a thing is, to me, I see that someone being economic.
Hello, you there?
You also read out that his willingness to accept, even if such a thing is presented to him. Before now, of President Muhammad Buhari was the worst that he took Nigeria back to over 20 years with regards to some of the policies and interventions he did. This 1 year of this administration, you cannot compare that government. Now, such an analysis or belief was beliefs because they thought that the previous, the next assembly was a rubber stamp assembly, that any whim or caprices that the government of the day presents, they accept it, just like that, without questioning or doing a normal check and balances, But this one appears to be worse. We are talking about the private jet that was initially purchased a few days ago. What about the Cadillac that was also purchased? Was it in the budget? There are a lot of things that they have done. Just as recently, there were rumors of subsidy being brought back, whether it's true or.
Yeah, you there?
When you have the people that are supposed to do a lot of check and balances, being in the bed with the executive, this is what you get.
But
the same way they use overnight to do first reading, second reading with the regards to the national anthem, changing of national anthem. It's possible that they can use overnight to approve such things.
But let me come.
Go into investigation and check.
Yes.
They can backdate and begin to prove to you that you follow the legitimate means. But to me, what I'm asking is this the really things we need here now? Didn't you meet the ruling class? Didn't they meet something on ground? Just last year, Mohamed Buhari bought a private jet. Beside that, Jonathan Era bought. Why are we having this fleet of things when we are midst of hardship and the suffering and poverty? There's serious hunger in the land, and we begin to see people that are supposed to lead by example, that are supposed to show leadership,
but the Senate President
begin to live exorbitant and the luxury life. Go to put a lot of question to whatever they preach.
But the Senate President had come from also the place of all of the incessant debts. I mean, we've seen quite a number of great men from different countries of the world, passing on as a result of airplane crash, jet crash, and stuff like that. And that he had come saying to the place of concern, saying that, look, it is only a matter of us doing the needful. I mean, it says the death of the vice president of Malawi as a result of a defective plane, and then the death of the president of Iran as a result of defective aircraft. It said we shouldn't ever sit and allow such to be the ocean. It wouldn't be. That's what he says. It says that the National Assembly was being blackmailed over the matter, right? But then it still takes us back, now to the place of Joe Ajaero as well, the place of where we are being very, very economical with information, when we're supposed to be in an era of information, where we're supposed to be able to know as Nigerians what exactly is going on with our monies, how these monies are being spent on, when we are also supposed to be heard, in terms of when we say that we don't want this, or we want this, or these are the priorities, and it should be adhered to. Do you think that we've had enough information? Because Joe Ajaero, on the other part, is also saying that I am not honoring the invitation on the set date that you have summoned or invited me for. He says, I am rather going to give you a date of mine, and then you will tell me what the allegations. I need to really understand what the allegations are before I come. And he is speaking through his counsel. There's a lawyer, of course, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, coming on his behalf and writing a letter to the IGP and saying, look, I demand, or my counsel, or whoever I'm representing, demands to know what exactly, he wants to understand what exactly the tone of this invitation and allegation, is about, considering the height of it, how serious it is. Financial terrorism is not something you sweep under the carpet. Have we had, such, is it justified then by Joe Ajaero to saying, hey, because the information is seemingly little, I would not be able to honor, and I'm only demanding that this information be spread out, in a way that I can understand. Would you now blame Nigerians for speculation in situations like this?
Well, there's a saying that where one's right ends, where another right begins, another person's right begins. Joe Ajero has not even found one thing or foul of the law. I think invitation is to come and explain some things, and they still have that right with regards to because.
Hello.
The organized labor.
Comrade, we lost. Comrade.
Schedule activities.
Yeah, comrade.
Let me land.
Yeah, no. We lost your thoughts. We lost your thoughts for a while. I don't know, the network or something. So I was only having a recall.
Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you now, please.
Okay, I say Joe Ajero, has a right to at least adjust his movement, because I know that he's held a very important position with regards to the Nigerian war. So I'm sure that we have had a schedule of activities to make a demand, even just like every other says, whenever I push on the person, they have it to demand for adjustment with regards to dates, just as Joe Ajero through his lawyer have done. Then again, the further demanding for clearer information with regards to what is being alleged is also within his both. It's just that over measures, to suppress or even tackle people that ruling class do not give favor or do not like. We saw the case of Showore, where he was incarcerated for over 4 years, made to be in one place, for over years before he was recently this year being released, last year being released to travel to other states before he was able to unite with the family. At the end of the day, this kind of things we are allegedly accused against him, but at the end of the day, there's nothing to prove. And they later withdraw it after spending and wasting taxpayers' money. Similar thing happened to Ezazaki. When the government of Nigeria began to accuse them a lot of things, took them to court, incarcerate them, go hard on them. At the end of the day, nothing come out of it. Just as recent as yesterday, we are hearing that the files of the case of former CJ and Watanoia is missing. And there are issues of possible out-of-court settlement. You begin to ask yourself, why are we doing this waste? Why are we being wasteful? If you don't have the concrete evidence to kneel somebody down, why are you trying to distract Nigerians, just to suppress the person's voices and to possibly push the person out of pressure in order for you to have your way? It's not good for the national development. It's not good for our growth. It's not good for any serious-minded government or people that wants to, meet up with, cut the pace with other developing nations. This kind of politics and antagonism cannot help us. Now, like I said, if indeed there are anything that is possible linked to Joe Ajero with regards to some of the things we saw in the letter of invitation, Nigerian police should not just avail them that, but also make it public so that people will not see them as being used, to suppress or possibly remove the NLC president in order to have their own man, because that's what we are seeing today. Any organization, union, association that appears to be insubordinate, that appears to have a different views with regards to some of the policies, they will twist such organization to put somebody that will be on the same page with them, and that is one of the things that is pushing us to where we are. If we had a robust National Assembly, I'm sure some of the things we experience today will not experience it. I'm very sure of that. Right. If we have a very robust National Assembly that know their dues, we cannot have it. We saw what happened in the first regime of President Muhammad Buhari with regard to Saraki when he was the Senate president. We saw the close check and balances that they exhibited, and the kind of recklessness that's been ascertained or been alleged with regard to his second term. It was not the same with the first term. You understand? So it's unfortunate. And the government that is telling us that they meet a bad economy are the government that are buying yachts to cruise on water. They are the ones that are buying Cadillac to drive on land. They are the ones that are buying jets to use their airspace. You ask yourself, who is fooling who? Right. This is their priorities now. Amidst hardship, people are on queue looking for fuel. Today, many states are buying fuel above 1,000. Some are buying 900. Some are buying 800. And your priority is to, show luxury and a careless, exorbitant way of living. Not just them. You saw that in the National Assembly. You see it in the governors. It's appalling, and honestly, it portends danger. We don't know what tomorrow will be, but there is anger in the land, and there's also hunger in the land. Every little opportunity, they want to express it. We saw the peaceful protest that was supposed to take place in Nigeria earlier this month. We saw how it ended up. Some of the youths in different parts of the country started looting things out of anger. You understand? We saw a lot of ruling leaders, ruling class being attacked. And at the end, you saw how many of them even went on recess, especially the National Assembly went on recess, to avoid being lynched. This does not tell well about us. There should be proactive measures to at least curtail and cushion the anger and tension in the land. We saw the way the president of Kenya reacted with regards to the protests. They brought down costs and listened to their people. At least it's calmed down tension. Just Cameroon that says that they make wound to go, but they make mind to calm down. Instead of making us to calm down, you are still living opulence life that causes anger in the land. It's not good for our collectives to, even people that are supposed to give solidarity and support to the government, at least with whatever ideas they are bringing, are beginning to withdraw it as if, because identifying with the present day government with the way they are living their life, it makes one look as if it's heartless.
All right.
It's uncalled for.
Yeah, let me put a peg to your thoughts now. Let's just go take a breather. When we come back, it's going to be time to hear from family members as they also give their 2 cents on the topical issue. This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, and yes, we're still talking politics and current affairs. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
From Milky Way to Earth, everywhere there's internet, you can connect with Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Log on to our website, www.eaglesfm.com. Follow and engage with us now on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja, Instagram at Eagles FM 1023. Download our apps on your Android and iOS stores. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on.
It is indeed a radio experience that you can count on, and we say it is in strong authority. Why? Because you gave us the bragging right. It is your political and current affairs prog show right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. And yes, we're still looking at that topical issue that borders around and about the government's expenditure and labor rights in Nigeria. And our guest has been Comrade Gerald Okachi, and he's a human rights activist, a public affairs commentator, and social analyst. And in the face of all of these, the Nigerian government's actions against the NLC and its expenditure priorities is really raising crucial concerns and questions about commitments, transparency, accountability, and even workers' rights, right? There are international perspectives to this. Well, the international community has expressed concern over the government's actions against the NLC. And Nigerians are also expecting the governments to prioritize the welfare and interest of the people. But then there are also that salient question that, Nigerians are asking, and some very critically minded people are also asking, is it possible for an individual to decline a police invitation and set their own date for questioning? Well, in Nigeria, the law allows individuals to decline a police invitation and request a different date for questioning. But this is subject to certain conditions, though. According to the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA, of, I think, 2015 now, a suspect has the right to consult with a lawyer before answering police questions. Section 17. Additionally, the police must inform the suspect of their rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to legal representation. Section 18. However, though, if in any case and in any way the police have reasonable grounds to believe that the individual has committed an offense, they can arrest and detain the person for questioning. Section 29, covers for that. And in this case now, the individual may not be able to decline the invitation or set their own date for questioning. Then it also brings now certain other questions, that might come to mind. What would be the implication of Ajero's response to the government's action, right? Because him saying that he would not be honoring it might also bring about some escalation of tensions, yeah? And also may have legal, consequences. And then what about the public perception of it? His response may also be perceived as being bold by some, but others might also want to see it as an act of defiance, even an act of disrespect towards the government. And like one of our family members, had said, was it Moses or can't place Triple D, had said, look, if you don't have anything to fear, why not just go and face the questioning? It's just an invitation. Please don't take it more than what it is, But others will want to also quickly tell you that, look, when it comes to Nigerian invitation by the Nigeria police right there, you might as well want to look at it with a comma eyes. You might want to look at it, twice or thrice and be sure of what you're doing at the point in time. But nobody really knows what the government's response would be exactly, in this regard, as this story, this entire situation is still in its ongoing process. Let's just take this call right now. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, Udwak.
Yes,
this is
Alamin.
Alamin from Mapul. Currently, I'm calling from Central Area.
All right, Alamin, welcome.
I greet our guest. Let me start by quoting Napoleon, the great philosopher. This has become my favorite quote. Napoleon said that there is a very thin line between the sublime and the ridiculous. Our guest made some assertions which are tantamount to misinformation. And it is on platform like this that a lot of people get this and fly with it. He said the administration is buying yachts, and to the best of my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, I hope I get this thinking. The proposed yacht was never purchased. In fact, the money that was meant for it, the National Assembly, diverted that money to the student loan. But our guest said that the government bought a yacht, so I want him to substantiate. He also said that Joe Ajero is not found wanting. No, Joe Ajero is found wanting. That was why he is invited by the Nigerian police. My question to our guest is, why is our guest not invited by the police? Udwak, why are you not invited by the police? It is because Joe Ajero is found wanting after an investigation was done on a document that were, seized from the NLC headquarters. These are the facts before us. And look, Udwak, every time Nigerians are complaining that we need to fight insecurity, government should show who are the sponsors of the terrorists. Recently, allegedly, a friend of the government that is taking pictures with the president, the ministers, and former governor by the name Bashir Hadeja was arrested, paraded, and charged with terrorism, funding terrorism, gun running. This is a friend of the government. The government did not scare him. People were supporting it. But now that Joe Ajero was, he extended the same invitation on allegation of terrorism funding, which we are all saying we need peace in our country. We are seeing people coming out to defend it. That is witch hunting.
All right.
Why are they not bringing terrorism charges against our guests? He's an activist like Joe Ajero. Why are they not bringing terrorism, funding charges against him if you think that is witch hunting? At the end of the day, we all know what we are doing. Let us just continue with it. Thank you so much.
Okay, Alamin right there, putting his 2 cents out there. But, comrade, are you there?
Oh, yes, I am.
All right. Maybe would you want to react now? Or let's just take one more call and then we get your reaction, on this. Hello and good morning.
Good morning, Odua.
Yes, please. Good morning, Elder. Yes, please.
Don't mind that it's not boy.
No, Elder, no, let's not start with that. Let's just have your take and go straight to it. No, please, Elder. Let's
let me go directly.
Yes, please, thank you, please, yes.
You see, me, I'm not here to accuse government, to accuse anybody. Government should be very, very careful the way they are handling this issue of terrorists or not terrorists or arresting people detained for bad government. this thing can develop to terrorism. And then they form a terrorist group in Nigeria. The life wire of the government is only 4. 50 terrorists can cut those the life wire, and then the government will come down. They should be very, very careful. This is security experts, not everything are mentioned in the air. They should be very, very careful. The way they are arresting people, or that you know, they don't know say it's the president of NSC. If they touch it, touch the whole of the government of the world. They should be very careful. You don't see how many people they do this story with this and this, they do to them. Pin them down. They want to pin him down because they this and this. And there is not a thought of them. When Diado was dying and whining with government, this government took land to land. We told him, the politicians, they are chameleons. They can change color at any time. Now they don't change your him now. You that you lead labor, let them be labor leader. Stand to claim our rights. We continue die and whine with government. Now the politicians have changed for him now. So anywhere where he go, he must answer that thing. They want to pin him down. They should not talk again.
Okay.
And then they want to detain him. If he go to police, they will detain him. Because terrorist allegation, he must be detained. And it's not valuable offense.
All right,
You know, it's not
All right.
valuable offense.
All right.
Should be very careful. Government should be very careful. If not, this in develop to terrorist group.
Okay.
Cut the last wire of the government. Only 4. The government will come down. Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, Elder Anandra, for that one. Back to you, back with you. But oh, come on! Just before I come back, I think I should take all of these because I'm not sure time would allow for us, to engage all of these messages. Now I see messages via the WhatsApp portal. Good morning, Daniel. You say I greet you. I greet our guest. I'm listening from Nasarawa State. That will be Tekin Bihundu. Thank you and welcome. He says, I want to disagree with anyone who says Nigeria is broke. The president, ministers, National Assembly are all living in luxury, enjoying and telling us to be patient, endure hunger and hardship caused by the Tinubu government's policies. Please help me ask your guest, who is the complainant in the NLC chair's elephant allegations? All right. Who is the complainant in the NLC chair's elephant allegations, you say? Okay, so I see this one now from James saying, good morning, standing on protocols now, James from Suleja. Need I remind us the presidency also purchased a luxurious new presidential vehicle, a Cadillac Escalade ESV. We are only finding out about the presidential jets due to the issues that came up with the Chinese investors confiscating Nigerian aircraft in France. The government initially claimed the aircrafts were in France for routine maintenance. There are over 10 aircrafts in the presidential fleet. What Nigerians are asking is why the denials and counter-denials before now. Is this a priority when it is asking Nigerians to make sacrifices? The legislature have also made their own luxurious expenses, while the judiciary were not left out in the largest with salary and allowances increases. Let's remember, when the NLC Secretariat was raided weeks ago, the security agencies denied being aware. And when they eventually admitted to the raid, they claimed they didn't raid the NLC offices, but another office space within the building. What are saying? Okay, I didn't get this one. What are we saying? Okay, is that these things are questionable. He has rescheduled to honor the invitation on the advice of his legal counsel. So let's wait for the police's response. All right, you say that. And Abbas now is going to be the last one I'll take. Then we'll get back with our guest and see how we can put a wrap on it. Says, good morning, okay. You say, you think there is nothing wrong with Nigeria buying a private jet for the occupational use of their number one citizen. Please, we should not note that jets don't belong to Tinubu but Nigeria. We should always remove sentiment from social reality. Nigerians are hungry, but shouldn't we not prioritize the life of our number one citizen? Some question right there. In a country when religious leaders and musicians are buying jets up and down. All right, please, let's leave this jet issue and face reality. Our president can't be flying like ordinary citizens. All right, thanks, Abbas. Abbas is saying, thank you, reporting from Duse right there. Comrade Gerald Okachi, you've heard Nigerians already.
Well, it's unfortunate that we have eventually been living the life that fellow of the blessed memory, sang in his days. He said he's suffering and smiling. You see, even the people that are suffering even much more, because of patronage or interest or loyalty or what they benefit, they continue to, tamper and be economic with the truth. You laying off 19 years old plan to purchase 15 years old with excuses of safety. Question we ask as citizens, is it not the same people that manage a brand new plane of that Obasanjo bought that will still manage this 15-year-old plane? Are we going to bring people from the moon or from another place, employ fresh people to come and manage the same plane couldn't manage? If the president of the United States of America, the most powerful man on earth, can still be managing a 34-year-old plane, what is really wrong with us? Now, talking about fleets, this administration it's not as if they came and they did not see anything, any means of movement on logistics. There were things on ground. Just like the building of a vice presidential residence with over whopping sum of 21 billion. You ask yourself, if these things are priorities now, a means of hardship, a means of hunger, a means of austerity, a means of frustration that the land is facing, all these things are their priority. You can't be a father in a home and you tell your children there's no money for food, but they see you drinking, eating pepper soup. You know what that means? It doesn't tell well. It doesn't tell how responsible you are as the father. This is the reality we are finding ourselves today, where you will tell us to tighten our belts, that yes, policies you are bringing will bring a little bit hardship, but in the future we will enjoy. But we are seeing you enjoy. It doesn't taste as if you came into power, you didn't see anything on ground to start with. So anybody making excuses, is trying to be economical with the truth, because they continue to bring excuses and reasons to defend. If tomorrow it is proven beyond that reasonable that subsidy is back, you see the same set of people giving you different excuses and the reasons why it should be back. But then you ask yourself, issue of Joe Ajero and the government of Nigeria, especially Nigerian police force. I said earlier, Joe is not above the law. If he's found wanting, he should be made to face the book. But let's ask ourselves the truth. We have found ourselves in this similar terrain in the past. What are the terrain? El-Zakzaky was arrested, incarcerated. His supporters demanded for his release. We know how hard they can clamp on them. Many lives we are lost, including one of our comrades who is a journalist that was, following up the protest in Abuja. He was shot at the beggar roundabout. Many people lost their life. At the end of the day, they couldn't court still cleared El-Zakzaky and award damages. Similar thing happened to Sowore. We saw how they took Sowore in a commando style in 2019, incarcerated him. We pushed and protested. Many of us lost their phone. Many were injured. We saw how they nearly killed Adeyonji in front of National Human Rights Commission. At the end of the day, they couldn't hold anything tangible against them. A similar thing is playing out again. The same way they heard a lot of things against Watanaga. Today they are talking about out-of-court settlements. These things doesn't tell well. If it continues to happen and happen over again, even when you have a genuine cause, to protect the national interest, to protect the security interest of this nation, people will look with a different prism. They will look from different. There's another day that said that what you bear in your risk, you don't use the mirror to look at it. It's obvious there. Ajero has not been a fan of some of these obnoxious policies. We know that. He has fought against it. And in fighting against it, he was beaten black and blue. And because he's fighting against it, we are seeing even just like I started with at the beginning of the program. I said it. Joe is trying to be very careful from what I understand, just like the Festus of a TUC and many others. During the end bad governance protest, we saw how they withdrew. They didn't show solidarity to the Nigerian youth or appear or mobilize their affiliate bodies. But that is what you get when you begin to see fascism, when you begin to see dictatorship coming into developing. If you don't caution it, if you don't put a question mark to it, it will certainly reach everybody. If Joe is found wanting, just like one of the commentators, responded when they invaded the NLC secretariat, they denied it. Later, the owner, that is an office. Now you begin to see those shenanigans, hide and seek. It doesn't tell well. If you are coming out, come out full. So okay, look at the intelligence report we have. Look at the intelligence information we have. You work on that. Let Nigerians know so that they will be in line with it. They will be in tune with you. But when you begin to do hide and seek, remember some of the accusations that we are laying against the SAGE invasion of NLC secretary was that they sponsored the end bad governance protest. The same way they accuse El-Rufai of this word, the same way they accuse Gumis of this word, the same way they accuse Obedience, IPOB, P2B, and the rest. It becomes of here and there, and it doesn't help well. It doesn't tell good about our nation. It doesn't at all. That is why when they accuse this kind of things, take it to court. They cannot have a conclusive end to it. They lose it at the end. It doesn't tell good. You waste taxpayers' money all the time for, getting perceived enemies, people that does not agree with you. These things they have purchased now, the yacht, the Cadillac, the private jets, are they our priorities? Don't we have fleet of cars? Was it not in this country that we saw our president when he visited Lagos for Salah? The counting of number of cars that followed him is over 50. And they are all SUVs. That's none of them you can say you found made in Nigeria. We have GAG, we have Nord, we have Innocent being produced in this country. None of them were in the fleet of cars.
All right. Just to put it out there, as contributed by James, and it has also been confirmed the fact that sometime in November of 2023, the House of Representatives Committee on Navy was saying that they will be investigating the Nigerian Navy for procuring the controversial presidential yacht without the approval of the National Assembly. In fact, the chairman of the House Committee on Navy, Yusuf Gagdi, at the time of APC Plateau, had given that information at the time, and it just shows that there are things that have gone underground, without even having to go through the National Assembly approval. But then we see a couple of messages now. I'll just get on with the WhatsApp again and bring it to us. I see this one from, the jet of the U.S. president is not 34-year-old, as according to Abbas now, says have fact-checked it. He said he has fact-checked it. The American Air Force One used by the president are about 15 fleets, I guess. All right. And there's continual replacement, as well as I think Alamin is also adding, saying America just approved and ordered a $3 billion brand new Air Force One from Boeing, and this is 400 times the amount Nigeria is spending on her own. The National Assembly National Security Committee confirmed that there's a need to replace the faulty aircraft of the Nigerian president, as it has become a national security threat, having broke down in one of his trips to Saudi Arabia recently. The question, of course, will now be, do they want the president to die in a plane crash like it happened to Iran president, before we would know that we need to prioritize the safety of our president? Again, let's all continue along the sensationalized and emotive reactions. We all know what we are doing. Alamin is saying that from Central area. But anyways, I want you to put a cap to all of this. What would be the way forward for us as a people now, because
as a people, I think one of the challenges we have faced today is bigotry, ethnicity, tribalism, and religion fanaticism. He has dealt bad. He has dealt with us so badly that we can hardly separate fast from sentiments and the fictions. Talking about 40 presidential jets, how many presidential jets do we have? And when we talk about this, it looks as if it's only one. We have them plenty there. If one has fault, you should go for maintenance. If you have mix of mobility, you go for constant maintenance. You can't say because you were on a trip and you have a flat tire on your vehicle, because of that, you should change it. You will fix it. That's essence of maintenance. What is the guarantee that this one they bought will not have issues tomorrow? You know, when we begin to be economic with the truth and try to blackmail people with issue of who wants the president dead, you know, it begins to tell the kind of character we possess. It begins to tell the kind of leadership we have, because we can only have what the society presents. And that is the reality of what we are facing today. You know, you try to present things clear and they begin to twist it. Now, are we competing with the United States of America with regards to luxury life for expenditure? If that is the case, we should copy not copy some and leave some. In the Washington, D.C. White House, the president, vice president, and the family do not entertain guests with the way we see at Aso Rock and other state government houses, the way we lavish money and make budgets with regard to that area. At the same way, they don't make this issue of First Lady a constitutional matter that will be appearing in place, or making provisions for them with regards to amount we push to them.
All right.
They already make to some of the things we do.
Yeah, comrade.
You understand?
Yeah.
So you don't just copy something to suit your narrative and suit whatever without considering the culture and traditional ways of our living.
All right,
you
comrade,
just copy and you want to pay just to support whatever you are presenting. Now, way forward.
There'll be no comrade. Sorry. There'll be no time for that already. But I want to appreciate you for the thoughts line that you brought on this very particular one. Appreciate you. Thank you. Far too kind. All right, we appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. All right, this is where we call it a close. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. You already know that tomorrow is yet another time. I see the phone lines buzzing, but we cannot take any further. We will have more conversations tomorrow. Keep in mind that 10 o'clock will be time for the Midday Extra Show. My name is Udwak Daniel.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
This is Eagles 102.3 News, your number